You just look like your breath stink. Stop using that $3 grocery store toothpaste and get you some of this Lucida. Help freshen them breath and get them old cheap ass work coffee stains off your teeth. This charcoal activated toothpaste will take that butter off your teeth using this charcoal and make it white as snow. Drop that in the description box and get some with your stank mouth ass. When you decide you want to live in a fairy tale, aka mistruths or lies, you create a hell for the other characters in the story. That was one of the hugest takeaways from this episode of Iyanla Van Zant. How a faulty foundation can mess up everybody who has to live within that house. This was a very robust episode of Iyanla Van Zant Fix My Life. And I'm going to tell you something. God is not pleased that this is the last season of Iyanla. She's got so much more work to do, especially within the black community. This is a story that we all needed to see in here. Want to talk about it? Here it goes. Nessa girl, y'all may not recognize the background. I'm down to the hotel in Clearwater where the rich white people be. It was my stepmother's 65th birthday and we decided to surprise her. You know, she lives in Tampa with my sister. We came over to the resort at Clearwater. We out here luxuriating. I rode a jet ski for the first time, y'all, yesterday. And it was the funnest thing on earth. But y'all didn't come here for that. We gonna talk about Iyanla. This episode of Fix My Life just changed my life, and here is why. I think from the time we first looked at Soul Food, when the family fucked my husband, we can all agree that dysfunction runs rampant in a lot of black families. And oftentimes we get stuck on, I don't like this one and I don't like this one, but then we never truly understand the dynamic that created some of these relationships. Miss Lula, the mother, the elder, the 72-year-old woman in this situation, she created and spun a web of lies, mistruth, deceit in the name of love and created a fairy tale for Miss Nancy that has really destroyed some damn people, and it was never her intention. Now the episode starts out with the mother being the villain. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was prepared to get on this video and cuss this woman out and call her all kind of dog-headed bitches, especially after that scene where she said she did not view that son as a man, and we'll get to that. But this episode of Iyanla had me rolling through emotions more than if I was on 2 ecstasy pills. For those of y'all who ever did X, you know when you coming down, bitch, you cry, get mad, get horny, laugh, be ready to fight, be feeling good, and you do it all over again. Baby, I thought I was back on the X pill. Fuck Iyanla, I'm gonna have to call Betty Ford Center, bitch, and go to rehab messing around with this episode of Iyanla Van Zant. But this thing was very odd because that silent generation stuff is real when it comes to black families, especially black people from the South, when it comes to not saying nothing, not speaking on stuff. And it's very traumatizing and hurtful when the things that go unspoken are very obvious. Case in point, it's 4 kids in this house. I don't look like any of these kids. This white lady is sleeping in the room with my mama, and nobody finna explain this shit to me. This episode speaks to the power of denial. How we can just sit there and deny and deny and deny, or the uncanny ability human beings have to see what the hell they want to see. And the mama and Miss Nancy saw what the hell they want to see. I'm going to start off with the mama. To be honest with you, in the name of love, the mama did something very selfish. It was very selfish of the mama to kill her Claudine Diane Carroll, Earl Jones Ray, behaving ass down to the welfare. Okay, she took her ass down to the welfare, seduced the welfare worker with that seasoned puss. Okay, called that man around there for some neck bones, and he gave her some neck and a bone. Gave that man that damn coochie, then sent his ass back down to the welfare. The question I got is, after she had his child, did she have to carry her ass back down to the welfare and put that damn child on her case? And did the man just think she had another baby, or did Miss Nancy take her off the welfare? We found out at the episode, Miss Nancy didn't take her off the welfare because Miss Nancy ain't had no damn money. Now, see, that's the thing. That's the story that I wanted to hear. Nancy went and got the U-Haul and took her out that apartment and put her in the house. But come to find out, Nancy didn't even have no money. Because quiet as it's kept, while you was down there fucking Nancy, you shouldn't have even had no relationship down to the damn welfare, because you and Nancy was supposed to be rich. And Nancy was a white man adjacent. So y'all was supposed to be real rich. Nevertheless, I do want to know what was going through that mama's mind. She was so busy wanting what she wanted and fulfilling the fantasy that she wanted to fulfill and feeling the love of Miss Nancy, that they was just like, fuck what y'all think. I'm finna go lay down in this bed with this woman. I got these kids over here. You don't look like none of them. And oh well, we just gonna pretend like this is not even going on. How does that work? How does that work? Now, granted, Miss Yolanda, the mother that everybody seems to have a problem with, and don't get me wrong, Yolanda is, the mama might have set it off, but Yolanda is definitely the nucleus of the bullshit. And what was infuriating me with Yolanda is that she just insisted on being the victim. I will say this. We've seen some worse people on Iyanla. At least Yolanda, to the best of her ability, was open. She didn't disrespect Miss Iyanla, and she was trying to secure some sort of healing. I will give her that. She just had to work through a lot of her own stuff. I think what we discovered and what Yolanda discovered is that she was holding everyone accountable for the shit that them niggas did to her. What bothered me so much is when we got down to that scene where she said she don't respect her son as a man because she don't respect any man who would be friends with somebody else that's an abuser. What I saw and felt in that moment is that she was taking out on that son and Uncle Herbert and saying to them what she couldn't say to them niggas that was beating her ass. And she was making them pay for every man that was beating on her that she didn't do nothing with. She wasn't angry with them. She was angry with them niggas. Now, let me ask y'all a question, because there seems to be a disconnect between if Uncle Herbert dragged her through them damn chairs or if Uncle Herbert just pushed her. What do y'all think happened? Drop down in the comments. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm from the South. I got Southern people of that age bracket, and respect is a big thing. And I've grown up hearing old people say, I turn her ass every which way except loose. My spirit tell me she got up at Uncle Herbert's face with that rah rah rah, and he turned her ass every which way except loose. And all things constant, it would have jarred her, made her act right, and all would have been good in the hood. But because she was an abuse victim and it was triggering for her, Uncle Herbert ass ended up going to jail. Now, it was a very powerful admission, right? Because I can definitely understand how a dynamic would be set up where a child would be looking at their mom and saying, regardless of the reason, this man put his hands on me, ma, and you sided with him. Regardless of the reason, I can understand how Yolanda would feel abandoned and betrayed in that situation. Going back to the ties that bond and the mom and the brother being close, I respect what that mama said. That mama said, I had to stand by Herbert because I put him in this situation. And although Herbert was coming to the mom's defense, the mom was kind of right. She did put him in that situation. Now, the reality of the situation is the mama and Miss Nancy spoiled the hell out of Yolanda. And I'm going to tell you who sees Yolanda the most for who she is. It's that son, Justin. And he not playing the radio with her ass when it comes to accountability. I'm going to tell you something. It would hurt me because it looks as if they all loved Miss Nancy. I love Miss Nancy. I could feel Miss Nancy love shining through that picture. And you know Miss Nancy has got to be one hell of a loving, special woman to be a white woman and to give up all the privilege that comes along with being white to be in relationship with a lesbian relationship with this black woman and to take on her 4 children. Especially during that time. That's a special kind of person. Miss Nancy was special. Miss Nancy was special. Now, me being somebody who's experienced, my mom and my aunt were at odds when my grandmother was dying of cancer, and I know what that can do to people. People act irrational when stuff like that is going on. The unfortunate thing is everybody acts as if they the damn doctor when it comes to a family member dying. Don't put her on the morphine, put her on the morphine. You know what I'm saying? I get how Yolanda would be upset. Okay, I understand it. She sees somebody she loved going through pain. I'm pretty sure, I don't know it to be a fact, but I'm more than positive Miss Nancy was in hospice because I went through this with my parents. And when they're at that level and the doctors say there's nothing else that we can do for them, hospice's job is to make them comfortable. Yes, she may have been coherent. Yes, she may have been able to talk, but the conversation now goes to quality of life. Is she in pain? If she's in pain, can she barely breathe? All things constant and in a clear state of mind and emotion, if the person is in pain, the most humane thing to do is start the morphine drip and let them pass peacefully. Basically, they fall asleep and they pass. All right. Yolanda told that mama absolutely right. You're being selfish. And that's where the breakdown and the pain started with them. You're being selfish. So now she mad with the mama. Then you got Derica, who is an outsider, who's fresh out of nursing school. So look at this from Yolanda's perspective. How the fuck you gonna let this bitch that just got out of school, ain't even got 30 hours on the job yet, come in here and tell you something? Especially considering the fact that what Derica had to say was contrary to what Yolanda wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Which was put her on the morphine drip. Then you've got the mom who stepped out of the room. They did it, and she didn't get to say her proper goodbyes to Miss Nancy. So that right there starts a serious bone of contention between the mom and Nancy and all of them. I found it funny that all these years, Yolanda did not know that what Nancy was doing was an extension of her mother's love for her. And I think that if Yolanda would have known that, it would have created a bit more understanding in this situation, because here it is, she thought that it was Miss Nancy that was spoiling her, and it was her own mother spoiling her using Nancy as a proxy. She said, "Bitch, you didn't think I knew Nancy was giving you that money? I'm the one who gave it to her to give it to you, because Nancy ain't had no damn money." And that's how you know it's love. You sitting up there laying up with a white woman with all the damn privilege that come along with being white, and y'all ain't had no credit or no loans. Let me tell you something, dear people, and this is some old lady under the tree wisdom. If you are with somebody who's getting ready to die and y'all are not legally married, you better go take out every loan and open up every damn line of credit and credit card you can in that person's name while they alive and run that shit up, because the debt gonna die with them. Long as you ain't married now. The debt gonna die with their ass. Let me tell you something. I'd have had Miss Nancy, good credit, white ass, laid up in that bed with so many personal loans, payday loans, unsecured loans, credit cards, rooms to go furniture, new cars, refinance loan, any kind of damn loan that lily white skin and that credit could have got, we would have had, baby. Okay, now going back to the son Justin, basically calling the mama a money hungry whore, she was spoiled. And it is kind of messed up for you to lean in somebody's ear and say, you not gonna be here, so you better, you better leave me something. That is kind of messed up. And I found it odd that the mother did not understand how insensitive and just bad it made her look to be like, money was me and Nancy's thing, and I didn't get nothing. And the mama had to let it be known, everything came to me. You get your inheritance when I die. That's kind of the way it works. She said, but I didn't get nothing. And the way you act, I'm sure the mama didn't feel prone to give you nothing. Uncle Herbert don't see it for Yolanda. And I think Uncle Herbert also sees Yolanda for who she is, and that's a large part of the reason why she has a hard time dealing with him and Justin, because she can't pull the wool over their eyes. Uncle Herbert didn't want to hear nothing about that forgiveness, bitch. He like, bitch, I don't went to jail for your ass. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't know because I haven't been through it, but my assumption is that the identity crisis that Miss Yolanda was part of or was experiencing, and the lack of structure, what she did say, the lack of structure is what pushed her into the arms of her abusers. I just don't know though what made her so callous and so nasty. To say to your son, if I have to choose between you and my husband, I'm going to choose my husband than to leave your children. That's a different kind of nasty. To go over to your son's house with a knife and threaten his wife, that's a different kind of nasty. To send police reports out and embarrass your daughter basically and spill her business to family members not involved with her life. Why are you so vindictive? And again, it goes back to inflicting the pain and taking the rage out that's within her from them dudes and doing it to her own children. When the rage within you supersedes and overshadows the love that you have for your children, that is problematic. What was hurtful and what was troubling was her and Iyanla and Justin do this exercise, and while Iyanla is dealing with the daughter, Justin goes out and they're talking. Instead of Yolanda leaving it alone and just basking in the moment of the breakthrough, she just has to be the victim. Iyanla told her, well, you know what hurt me? When you didn't defend me from Uncle Herbert, which translated into, you a man and you supposed to defend me from abusers. I think the part that Yolanda is missing is, you got up in Uncle Herbert's face. And yes, Uncle Herbert maybe shouldn't have choked you, but you're a provocateur. You provoked that man to choke you, and he turned your ass every which way except loose. Then you called the police on Uncle Herbert and had him locked up, but you ain't called the police on them niggas, and you ran to New York with them niggas. You got big nerve, bitch. I'm here to tell you. And then to tell that boy, I don't view you as a man because you still friends with your sister's abuser. And then to hear his justification for what was going on, I know she had to feel stupid. Because the last woman that gave me an ultimatum about a man left me, which was you. And the last time you did that to my sister, she went to Georgia and we didn't hear from her for a year. So the easiest way for me to protect her is to keep her close. I understood it. After he explained it, I understood it. And for that, she needs to respect him because he was doing what she couldn't, which was protect the daughter. I don't understand how a mother finds it in her heart to tell her daughter when she sends you pictures of the kids, you look homeless. Then in the next breath say, I was doing what I thought to protect you. I didn't like you with him. I thought that would corral you and make you come home somehow. How, bitch? How? How is insulting me and making me feel small supposed to bring me closer? She talking about she have very little respect for men who abuse women and her son being an abuser. I have very little respect for people who abuse their children. Granted, I ain't never had one, but I know for a fact, as an uncle and as a person who loves small children, there's just an auto response in your body that should make you automatically love your children and never say hurtful shit to them like that, especially considering the fact that you didn't grow up in an environment where you saw your parents say hurtful things to children. You didn't grow up like Precious, even though your mama was down to the welfare, crying and carrying on and laying it low and spreading it wide. Um, it sounds like you were overloved. And I never thought overloving somebody could fuck them up, but it sounds like you was overloved and probably treated better than the other three children in the household. I honestly wish her other three siblings were there, and I know Iyanla can't fix every damn body in an hour long show, and there's already about 8 of their ass there. I would be curious to know what their experience of you is, because I'm sure they probably got some trauma and some issues from being treated differently, and you being a spoiled brat, aka an old grown spoiled bitch. And Miss Yolanda is a prime example how one person can stir up and keep up confusion within a whole family. My mama was that person. My mama could stir up and keep up some mess. But looking back at it, and I relate to this story so much, it was rooted in pain that my grandma was the root cause of. Back from when her and my aunt were sisters, that's how shit went. And instead of knowing how to apologize and speak it out, they swept it under the rug until it boiled over and manifested itself in my mom and aunt having fist fights. My mama being mad with me because my grandma loved on me in a way that she didn't love on her. And it created all kind of problems, and shit was just all off balance. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm gonna tell you how it got fixed in my family. They died. It never got fixed while they was living. It died, and the problems died with their ass. And us younger ones, we talk about it and we move different. But it never truly got fixed in my family. It died with their ass. It's in the grave, baby. It's somewhere in Forest Lawn, getting rained on and fertilized. This was just a good one. This was a good one. That's my sister telling me what time we going to brunch. This was just a this was just a good one. It was good. It was good, and what I like is that at least they got to the root cause of the problems, and everybody held their accountability. Iyanla came under a lot of backlash for saying mothers destroy their sons, but she told the absolute truth that your words speak to the coil of his soul. And when she said what she said to that young man, and the fact that he was hurt and was sitting in all that defeat, and she still felt no maternal instinct to stop, that's what was abusive. And that's what was problematic for me. That thing, if you look on my Instagram and see the way the tears was scrolling down my face, that brought me to tears. It brought me to tears, and it hurt to see that boy hurting like that at the hands of his mama. It was hurtful. And that she was so numb to it and caught up in her own dysfunction and craziness. All these men done whooped her ass, but nobody seemed to have knocked no sense into her. I hope that they do continue to go to therapy. And it sucks because Yolanda is a beautiful woman. And she's articulate, and I'm willing to bet that she's got some level of success career-wise or whatever the case may be. Yolanda is a woman on the surface that looked like she got it all together. And I'm sure she is the cat's meow. When she walked through the mall, the men's holler, their heads turn, and their wives get mad. Yolanda is that bitch. And just imagine what she was given when she was younger. And look how broken she is. Just as damaged and just as ugly on the inside as she want to be. The only thing is, I do find some slight beauty in Yolanda because I do feel like there's a loving person somewhere down in there. I feel like she's got a double-sided heart. The left side is black. The right side is red with love. And she's got to let the love overshadow that darkness. I hope that through this, she gets some therapy and they get that stuff back on track. And especially her and Uncle Herbert, I think they need to sit down and start going to some lunches, so on and so forth. Yolanda says Uncle Herbert abandoned her when she was 16 and pregnant. I believe it, because that's what they did back then. I do believe it. I do believe that Uncle Herbert and Yolanda both suffer from the same problem, which is minimizing and slightly denying their roles in the situation. You did make her feel not loved when she was 16 with that baby. You did, Uncle Herbert. You did. You did. You did. You did. Tell me they can come talk to me. Nah, maybe they couldn't. Or maybe you didn't set the foundation for her to be able to, but you did it. And that's where her distrust for you and her issues with you started. I'm very proud of the youngest son. It's always the youngest one who can see through the bullshit. Because he's like, I see what all of y'all doing to one another. Especially because he's the least affected by it in terms of direct abuse. He sit back and see what each and every one of y'all do to one another. The most powerful scene for me was the brother and the sister. The sister was crying about one of her kids to go to the birthday party. And my kids can't see your kids because you mad with mama. And I love how Iyanla gave them that tool of that boundary. And that brother was clear. I don't have no problem with my kids playing with your kids. They love your kids, but they can't be around her. And when Iyanla gave them that boundary, you can come get my kids at any time, but respect my boundary. They can't be around her. And the sister understood it. That's the way it goes. And I hope that we all walk away from that, learning how to set boundaries and limitations with family situations. I want that mama and son to fix it, but I'm kind of with that son. Until you willing to tell the truth about some shit and be 100% real with it, it ain't nothing we can talk about. And I'm not finna sit here and ride this train of dysfunction with you. I'm finna protect my peace, choo-choo, and stay the fuck away from your ass. That part. That's a girl. This was a good episode, Iyanla. This thing getting lengthy. It's 25 minutes, and I want to go to brunch and join my family. Look at this beautiful, y'all. I'm staying here. Y'all look how beautiful it is out that door in Clearwater. I'm finna get out here and get me a piece, and I'll call y'all hoes later. Bye.